South Asian Americans are the fastest growing ethnic group in the United States, and a disproportionate number of them are living close to or below the poverty line. Why and what is being done? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Traynham, and I'm joined by Manar Waheed, Policy Director for South Asian Americans Leading Together. Manar, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start first and foremost about defining what South Asian Americans are, just from an overall ethnic group. When you take a look at Bhutan, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka, that's a fairly large group, no?
It absolutely is, and there is a significant number of individuals from those groups in the United States.
I want to talk for a few moments now about the stereotype that one may have of this group. One would think that they're in the engineering field, the STEM field, the science, technology, engineering, and math. Is that an accurate stereotype? Based on the poverty line comment that I mentioned a few moments ago?
Sure. We certainly have people from those groups who fall into those categories, but there are also cab drivers, convenience store owners, people who are everyday workers who are a big part of our community as well. And
where does the poverty line issue or the issue of poverty really fall into this?
So I think because there is such a wide economic range in terms of who South Asians are, like many other communities, that our community does often deal with things like wage issues, like minimum wage issues specifically, or
labor issues overall?
Labor issues overall, absolutely, and we're seeing that a lot in the immigration debate as well.
And speaking of immigration debate, you know, this has been a national conversation that we've been having. The vast majority of the policy points have really focused on Latin America, Latinos and Hispanics and so forth, Mexico, and all the Latin American countries, but really haven't focused on South Americans or South Asian Americans and so forth. How do we combat that from a policy standpoint?
So I think a lot of it is about our community members raising our voices, which is a lot of what SAALT does in our work. That's our primary issue. Our mission is to really raise the voices of South Asian community members. And we do that through a variety of ways, one of which is policy advocacy. And sometimes that means our community members telling their stories to members of Congress, really raising the issues that impact our community around the entire immigration system, not just one piece of it.
Manar, are the issues the same from an immigration policy perspective when it comes to H-1B visa, when it comes to marrying your spouse, if your spouse perhaps is from a different country? Are the issues the same?
The issues are very similar. I think there are unique ways in which they impact the South Asian community because we do have a very high population of H-1B or skilled workers. So they do have unique consequences. We've also seen in a post-9/11 world a lot of profiling issues that are within our immigration enforcement system as well. And so those pieces around immigration reform, for example, what we would like to see is a prohibition, a very clear prohibition on profiling within the immigration reform bill. Those are pieces that very directly impact our community.
I want to go back to profiling
Sure.
because that's very, very important. A lot of brown communities in this country clearly are impacted by that. Can you be a little bit more specific about profiling? How does it impact your community specifically?
So I think in a post-9/11 world, our community has been profiled around issues of terrorism, but what we have seen from those profiling measures is that they are not effective. There have not been prosecutions related to terrorism as a result, and they really divert our limited government resources and waste our tax dollars on things that are not productive. They also destroy community relations, which means that our community members are less likely to reach out for help when an incident occurs and makes our entire society less
safe. So in other words, they become more skeptical of the system, if you will.
Right. And there's a lot of mistrust with law enforcement as a result of profiling.
And I assume we got about 30 seconds left. That is a major issue for you, is to build up that trust between the police community, the law enforcement community, and the South Asian American community.
Absolutely. And that's something that's going to be very difficult to do without a prohibition on profiling.
And do you believe that comprehensive immigration reform will pass sometime in 2013 or 2014?
We are very hopeful that it is. There are still a lot of things we want to improve.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Traynham. Have a great day. Bye-bye.